Hey guys, Clumsy here and welcome back to ETS2. In the previous episode, we bought this new truck. Well, did I show it to you? I think not. But we did get a new truck, the Roman, because we are in Romania. And we are checking out still MIRFI's Romania Map, but it's now in version 1.4. Previously, it was in 1.3 and there have been a couple of bug fixes, updates since. So we'll be exploring it now with some very interesting sites. So I got in touch with MIRFI and he said he recommended a route to me. It's the, and let me try and pronounce this, Iași, Bacău, Brasov, where is Brasov? Brasov, București rather, and Constanta. That's the recommended route that he gave. So that's what we will follow, because in that way we'll be able to experience different types of terrain. So there will be like hills, there will be mountains, plains, seaside, and different road types as well. So let's get started. I have some announcements as well along the way, so let's get to it. Thank you for the beautiful feedback on the previous episode, by the way. Glad to see that people are liking the truck and liking the map. That's a bit louder than I remembered. The engine sounds. That's perfect. That's what I wanted exactly. Oh man, come on. Okay, fine. Oh yes, yeah, a couple of updates. Anyway, so what did I say? So different road types will be going through expressways, national roads, highways. So we'll be getting a buffet of the different types of sceneries that we can get in this map, and you guys can decide for yourselves if it is something you want to try out. Okay. The only downside to this map is it's not compatible with Pro mods, but it's actually like an alternative to Pro mods, because Pro mods by default has some very, it looks like there is no traffic again. It seems to be defaulting. Weird. I'll adjust that later. So Pro mods by default has some very detailed objects, very detailed maps. So by default the number of objects are greater than what there normally is, and that means it's a bit more laggy and it's a bit more taxing on the system. So if you don't have a powerful system, you might not be able to enjoy Pro mods as much, but you can enjoy Romania. And especially if you are a Romanian or familiar with these parts, that's where we're going. How do you pronounce that? Cernavoda or Cernavoda? Something like that. You get what I mean. If you're Romanian, I'm sure you guys can relate to this one. And thank you for the Romanians who have commented, who have raised their hands when I was asking if there are Romanians watching us. And there are a couple actually, so thank you. And hope you are enjoying the map. Must be very surreal. Must be very enjoyable to actually see real areas existing in the game. Real familiar areas that you have gone to, you maybe live in even. Okay, let me see. Let's try to park this thing. Does it have a steerable axle? I don't think so. Can't remember. No, it doesn't. Doesn't seem like it. And that is a bit too much. Yes. Let's try to adjust that. It's a very colorful truck and trailer, isn't it? Straight out of a coloring book. Might be a bit over the colors, but let's say it's a proper show truck. Yeah, not a very utilitarian truck, but a proper show truck. That should work, kind of. Barely passing, maybe. We will see. What is up with my steering today? It's a bit too much. No, I don't think it will accept that. Yeah, my bad. My bad. Let's adjust it properly. That should be okay now. Yes, that is exactly what I'm looking for. Yeah, easy does it. That's the key. The more you rush, the more you slow down. Words of wisdom from Clumsy. Turn off the lights, parking brake, and let's load her up. And you should see the cargo. There we go. These are 24 tons of square tubings. Looks very heavy. Very nice cables in there though. Very nice attention to detail, isn't it? This trailer is the official Krone flatbed. I forgot the actual name, but you guys know that. Actually, let's go and check it out. It's the official Krone. I think that's how you pronounce it, right? Krone flatbed, yeah, HD, which is heavy duty or something. You know, I always forget these things. I knew that before. Okay, let's get going. And let's route, because we want to go Iași, Bacău, but we also want to pass by Brasov. Brasov, something like this maybe would work. Yes, just passing through, and then pass by București. Maybe let's pass by the heart of the city, and then Cernavodă or Cernavodă, and then Constanta. Maybe after Cernavodă we'll drop by Constanta. Yeah, something like that should be good. Just the perfect distance should be good for the episode. Just perfect length. Yes, and we can do some announcements, some Q&As and whatnot. Oh, and before we go, make sure to bring back traffic. G traffic. Oh, there's some kind of error in there. Missing scheme definition. Not sure if that's from the map, but I hope it's not. But it looks to be an ending, so that will fill up my game log. I hope that doesn't cause an issue later on. Well, we will see together. Yeah, we'll see together. I might have a mod conflict in there. But I hope we start seeing some cars now. Now that I set up the... Yeah, okay, there you go. Some cars are popping up now. Thank you. Alright, so one of the first announcement, if you notice, I am using Project Next Gen, and I actually missed it. So one of the most beautiful things I've seen in Project Next Gen, the texture mod from Damien, is with 1.4, the road lines are not perfect anymore. They're not perfectly white. If you look at the road painting, the road markings, the road lines, they're worn out. And before, they were not like that. If you just download 1.4 itself, they won't look like that initially, because there is actually an add-on file in the same link. So if you can go to the mods list in the video description, the link going to Project Next Gen 1.4. So you download the 1.4 itself, but there's an add-on called Alternative Lines, I think it's called, and that will give you these worn out, these old lines in here, very worn out lines, which look a lot more realistic than the super white ones. Although I've seen that not everything has been white, like the arrows on the road are still not white. So I think there were some items that were missed, but mostly if you just look at this, that looks so beautiful, doesn't it? That looks so beautiful in high res. Amazing. Okay, let's keep going. So that's the first change that I did, aside from MIRFI's update to Romania Map 1.4. That's one of the things that we've seen, that I've implemented. And look at, yeah, that one. The road marking on the side, that is perfectly realistic. Worn out, just like in the real world. It's not too perfect. Not like City Skylines perfect, at least. What is that? Looks like a railroad incoming. Let's try and slow down. I'm not sure what the law is in Romania. If you are passing through a railroad, do you stop? Well, the cars aren't stopping, so I won't either. Maybe I'll just stop, look and listen. Slow down, look and listen. Yeah, we're good. There we go. Yeah, well, I think that's good. Is that a custom car in Romania? Maybe, huh? Nice. One sec. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm losing my... There we go. I got lost in my range, my gear. The thing with these sounds is if you reach a certain rev, like if you shift wrongly and you put a lower gear than what you should, so that means you have a very high revs, like, I don't know, reaching the maximum, you lose the sounds, because the sounds cut off at, I don't know, 2500, past 2500 RPMs or something like that. That's why the sounds went away for a few seconds there. Okay, Bacau is where we're going, yes. So maybe I should be moving to the left, because I'm not sure if this will drop off. Let's apply some engine braking in here. Please let me pass. Oh no, red light. Crap. Ooh, no penalty. We got lucky. Maybe in Romania they're not that strict. Oh, and I didn't notice that it was actually just 50 kph speed limit in there. So yeah, the roads are looking even more realistic now, you can believe that. They looked very good last episode, but they look even better now with these faded road markings. Much more realistic. I think I'm keeping this. You guys let me know what you think, alright? There we go. So, we start from Iași. We are going to Bacau now. And then we will proceed to Brasov. Something like that. I love the undulating, is that the right term? Roads here. How it bends, curves just a little left and right, and then goes up and down. It's not totally flat. That is what I like with the maps like these. Gives you a bit of variety. It's not too flat, it's not too perfect. It's a lot more realistic looking. Engine braking hype. Not even stepping on the service brakes at all. Just letting the engine brake do its work. Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's the thing though. If you rely too much on engine brakes, you tend not to brake at all. You tend not to do full stops. So sometimes you need to still apply your service brakes. Man, that looks so beautiful, doesn't it? That combination of the lighting, the faded textures, the realistic vegetation on the sides, that looks so real, man. Goodness. I think we can stay on the right now. There's even this like different textured thing on the side here, which I'm not sure what it is. But it looks like something that was repaired, and that's why the tone is different on the left and right side of the road. At least that's how it looks like to me. Love it. Goodness, I'm loving this map. But anyway, let's proceed. What else do I have? So we still have foggy weather, the new beta, although a huge announcement here. This will be the heads up Roman. Hey, he's calling our truck. So this will be a huge announcement in the upcoming videos. You might have noticed that and if you've been watching the channel, then you know that we've switched to the new beta of foggy weather, and that we've been encountering a lot of issues, not because of foggy weather. Well, it's triggering an SCS bug with the skyboxes, wherein the shadows flicker and the skyboxes are loading one after the other. Is Roman a town in Romania? Interesting, it looks like it. So the wait a sec. Trying to look for my gear. There we go. Getting really confused today. I don't know why. Must be because it's a Monday. So with foggy weather, the new beta, we're using 8K textures now, and for some reason it's more prone in inducing the SCS bug with skyboxes, wherein the shadows flicker, the skyboxes swap one after the other, like 2 skyboxes are loading one after the other, and it's causing a massive lag spike. We've seen that, and it's more apparent with heavier maps and heavier trucks. So the more objects that are loaded in, regardless of how powerful your system is, there's a certain limit in the game, which is when you reach that point, it's more prone to get the SCS bug, and you get lag no matter how powerful your system is, which makes it so frustrating. And with the new foggy weather beta, so whenever we come across some of these very nice, oh man, Bacau looks so good, doesn't it? Look at this scene. Goodness, let's take a photo here. I think this will be a nice photo. So no matter how powerful your system is, you'll get that lag. And with oh man, yeah, this is why I would hate to do this announcement, because man, foggy weather is so good. But anyway, yeah, so the announcement is I might need to remove foggy weather in certain maps. Like in this map, I don't need to, because this map is very performance friendly, and it doesn't cause any lag whatsoever, and the truck we have is very smooth, very low triangle count, so we don't really need to, we can afford to have foggy weather in here. But in some cases, like for example in ATS, in Mexico Extremo, where there are a lot of objects, in pro mods where there are a lot of objects, and when we switch to a truck that is more heavy, yeah, it's a heavier in terms of triangle count, then the bug will appear again, and we'll get more flickering and more really laggy situations. This one is super smooth, right? But later on, I remember in the previous episode we encountered that same bug, even with the simple, very performance friendly map and truck. And even with that, we encountered it one time. Only one time though, which is actually a record. So in this case, I don't need to remove it, and we can enjoy the full glory of foggy weather new beta. Goodness, that is so good looking. That is amazing. And the map with Bacau is very, very beautiful. I've been... Oh, that time I wasn't able to avoid the red light offense. But yeah, red lights have been chasing me ever since the start of the episode. That's fine. We have the money. But yeah, that's a very beautiful sky that we're seeing. Perfect weather to go trucking, isn't it? The weather effects and everything. So I might need to remove foggy weather, unfortunately, with some of the maps that we're doing, especially for example when we go to the UK. If you remember, actually it was yesterday when that episode of Silent Trucking released, when I was driving with Madsters MEN, and I was going to London, which is very beautiful but also very object heavy. And so we were getting the bug like every few seconds, and I had to open the console, set weather to 0, all those adjustments. And with Silent Trucking, where I don't have any commentary, the goal is to have an immersive experience, right? Like exactly like you're the one driving. No overlays, no anything, just you, the truck, the map, and all the sounds that come with it. Make it as immersive an experience as possible. And when we get that lag, and when we get that lag, and when you have to open the console to get removed, then that completely breaks the immersion. That cuts the immersion, and we have to, after that, we have to get ourselves back in again. So in those cases, because of those cases, I'll have to remove foggy weather in the meantime. I'm trying to go back to the older beta, just so we'll still have some beautiful skies and beautiful tints. It will not be as pretty as this one, but as we've seen before, a couple of months ago, it's as beautiful as ever. So, and with that, we will not get the bugs as much as well, because it's a technical limitation. I guess, I hope by 1.33, that's the next version of ETS2 and ATS, I hope that bug will be fixed. But until then, I think we'll have to be very careful where we enable foggy weather new beta. It's too heavy duty for the current system architecture. Yeah, that's pretty sad news for me, but I think we'll have to do it, because I've started to get complaints in the comment section because of the lag, and I myself am dreading it as well, because as much as I would love to see the beautiful skies, the lag is a real immersion breaker. And you remember that time when I was griping over a stutter because of the autosave feature? If I'm getting troubled by that single stutter, like microsecond stutter, how much more when it's the actual perma lag, as long as the skyboxes are bugging out, right? So yeah, that's a major SES bug from my point of view that needs to be fixed ASAP. But until it's fixed, we'll have to be very careful on what we use. Yes, and yes, there it goes. Case in point, this is the Skybox Bug. You can see the shadows flickering, and yeah, it becomes a slideshow simulator. So I'll need to go to the console, and now we're getting all these bugs as well. Missing scheme. Not sure what that is, but I didn't get that in the previous episode, if I remember correctly. And the only thing I changed is I updated MIRFIs to 1.4, and it's still super smooth though, isn't it? Even with that lag in the background. So, but I know it will trigger some OCD from you guys who don't like errors and warnings in the log. And yes, I also don't want it because I think it will fill up the game log file. Where that's coming from. MIRFI, if you're watching, is there any chance that's coming from your map? Or can anyone point me to the right direction how to disable that? Because how to prevent that? Because right now, what I changed since the last episode was MIRFI's map. I updated to 1.4. The alternative lines for Project Next Gen I added, and I also updated Sogard's Mega Liner mod, so that's an own trailer, which I doubt will have an effect here because we're not even using the trailer right now. So I doubt that's it. The alternative lines, maybe if there's a missing link somewhere, but maybe it's the map. I'm not sure, not really sure. I'll have a look later. But you guys let me know as well if you have any leads, alright? Anyway, let's try to enjoy and ignore what's happening in the background. Man, this is beautiful. Now, if you've noticed, we've transitioned from a highway scenery to like a countryside road with lots of trees. Very scenic. I can almost smell the fresh air here. Man, this is so good. Yeah, this is, I think, a very good recommendation from MIRFI. Thank you for giving me this route. For telling me about this route. It's perfect. Oh man. There we go. Third year's the charm. Granted, this truck does not have the most powerful engine, but we should be able to make it. Okay. And I think that's the end of my announcements. Finally, right? After 20 plus minutes. So now we can proceed with the Q&A. We are still working on Jay's questions. We are on question number 7 now from Jay, and if you want to hear more of it, just look at the previous episode. Watch the previous episode for more Q&A action. And if you want to see all the Q&As, well, almost all of the Q&As, you can go to my channel, and there is a search feature in the channel, right, in YouTube. and just put in Q ampersand, that's the end sign, and then A, and you should get all the episodes, because I try as much as possible to label. So if you look at the title of this episode, there should be a Q&A thing at the end of the title. That is the marker that this episode has that segment. And that was suggested by Jay as well, because I think he was interested in watching, especially those ones, especially if he asked a couple of questions. Goodness. So thanks a lot, Jay, for the recommendations, the suggestions, and the questions. What is this? Kovasna. Judith Tool? I love it. I love the variety of the landscape in here. Mixing of the trees, different kinds of grass, different colors, different shades, empty patches of soil there, the railings on the side of the road. Beautiful, isn't it? And all that in the most optimized manner. Man, I really wish this gets integrated sometime when pro mods, so we can get best of both worlds. Romanian fans rejoice. But in the meantime, let's go and enjoy this one, because even though MIRFI is the same guy who's working on the pro mods team for Romania, there are some roadblocks currently with integrating this Romania map, the areas in here with pro mods. Although I think long term that's the plan, but right now they shared with me some info on why that is not possible, and I absolutely forgot about it. So as always, sorry that I keep forgetting these things, but Davey or anyone from Promo's team or MIRFI, if you're watching, can you share in the comment section below for the benefit of everybody else watching why that is that we don't have this Romania map inside Promods yet? But yeah, I think it's part of the plan. It's like a long-term plan. So eventually we will see it. For now, we enjoy it as it is. But man, I'm really loving this. I really love the smooth gameplay. And if you're playing vanilla, then that's perfect, because nothing can beat vanilla in terms of performance, in terms of frame rates. You'll get the best there. But then again, because you're playing vanilla, there are some areas which are like 5 years old already from when the game first released, so it doesn't look so good. Textures are old. That's why we have mods to make everything pretty. Textures, lighting, models, and everything. But then that comes with a price, right? Usually when you make something prettier, it becomes more performance heavy, and so you slow down the game. But with this map, not the case. You make it so good looking, and yet it is very, very performance friendly. So thanks a lot, MIRFI, for the beautiful work here. I'm loving it. Really loving it. Textures? Yeah, even those are faded. Look at that. Love it. Good. Love this town as well. Looks like a very nice little homey town with the mountains overlooking, like looming. It reminds me of Grindelwald. We were there when we went to Switzerland. We just dropped by. We just were there for like a few hours, and the entire town was enclosed by mountain ranges with Alps. So good. It's like pretty scary if you think about it, but I don't know, there's some kind of appeal in there as well, especially when the weather is clear. You're seeing the mountains in their full glory. It's just wow. Anywhere you look, it's scenic. It's like you can close your eyes, take a picture, and you still get a beautiful shot. Okay, sorry about the delay. Finally, let's get to the questions. So Jay's question: what are the places that make you feel like home, which doesn't trigger your OCD and doesn't pop your bubble? Places that make you feel like home. Now the thing with me is I'm not a very how do you say, I'm not a very homey person. I mean, I stay at home most of the time. I go out like a few hours a day at most, but I mostly stay home. I work from home, I record from home. I rarely go out anymore because I'm getting older. Things like that. But the thing is, I'm not that attached. You know, like I can call, like, home is where the heart is. If you want it in a cheesy manner. Like, my home can vary from year to year. Like, if we decide to move, because right now we're just renting. If we decide to move to a different place, then there will be all the hassles involved in moving and everything. But once I move and I maximize that, and that's my home. So it's like I'm not attached to a certain place. And so right now, actually, I'm a Filipino. I originally come from the Philippines. That's where I grew up. And since 5 years, I've been living in Singapore. But I don't really miss home. I don't really miss the Philippines. Granted, you cannot beat family. Like, I miss family most and first and foremost, but the place itself, like, I am not a very sentimental guy. When I need to move, I need to move. So when I go somewhere, when I need to switch homes, I just do it, and then I don't look back. I'm a very forward-looking person. Me and Mrs. Clumsy were discussing this. I'm a very forward-looking person. That's why I suck. My memory sucks, like, you know, goldfish memory, because I don't look back. My memory is good when it comes to the present time, but once it becomes in the past, I forget about it. So I'm a very forward-looking person, and that's why the place that makes me feel like home is wherever I'm currently staying at, basically. And I'm not very picky when it comes to that. Man, this looks so good. Are we in Brasov? We are in Brasov now. Yes. Starting to get urban bit by bit, and I guess it will reach its climax when we get to Bucharest. Yeah, Bucharesti to the left, because that is the, correct me if I'm wrong here, might have not studied enough. Bucharesti is the capital of Romania. Yes or no? I think so, because it's the most familiar place in my ears. But you guys let me know, okay? As always, I suck at geography, so you guys let me know. So yeah, I'm a very forward-looking guy, so I don't, how do you say? You could say I don't have roots. Yeah, I don't have roots. I plant them wherever I go. So the major considerations, as long as it's safe, as long as the infrastructure is good, I'm happy already. And so I'm not a very homey person, basically. But I do have preferences as well. So like, how do you say? When I travel, I want to up, weather bug. There we go. Oh, and the scheme error disappeared. So it might have been in that area only. Ah, interesting. Okay, that's good. So at least it doesn't fill up my my log that much. Okay, the issue is gone. And man, is this beautiful. Goodness, I'm loving this. But yes, that's the answer, basically. I know that's not like the, how do you say, a very dramatic answer, but it is the real answer. That's how I am. Hopefully that also sheds some light on my personality. You guys, where the heck is the... Oh yeah, I remember this truck. The fuel gauge is behind the steering wheel and you cannot see it, because that's the way it is in real life. You would have to like... move your head or something, but I'll just open it like this. I'll cheat. Okay, not a problem. Come on, 4H it is. Good. So you guys let me know as well, because I did announce that I might turn off foggy weather. You guys let me know as well what your preference is, alright? I will most likely turn off foggy weather for silent trucking because I cannot afford to have the SES bug there. Opening the console at any point is an immersion breaker. I mean, even just opening the route advisor that at any point in the episode is a bit of an immersion breaker already. How much more opening the console, right? So I will most likely remove foggy weather for silent trucking episodes. For streaming, maybe, because with streaming there's a lot more toll in the system, and so performance is at a premium, and so if you get laggy in stream then it will be even worse. But then again, in stream it's more like more unofficial, more casual, so we can open the console, we can fix stuff, so maybe it doesn't hurt that much. So maybe in the end I can keep foggy weather there. I don't know. In these episodes in Romania I will keep it for sure because it doesn't hurt that much, I think. But as always, I'm open to suggestions. You guys let me know what your preference is, alright? I'll be waiting for you in the comments. Campina. What does Campina mean? Is that a place? Maybe. So yes, that's the answer to the first question. Hope that's enough. Hope that's satisfied. And then next question from Jay is, what do you think about 4K in mobile phones? 4K in mobile phones. So that means getting the 4K resolution in mobile phones. I think it's how do you say? I think it's diminishing returns. Man, that trailer looks so good. Might be from the promo trailer in company pack. I think it's a diminishing returns kind of thing. Like 4K is supposedly for high resolution, making things look crisp, very not blurry, yeah, very sharp and very detailed. But when you're looking through a mobile phone which has a very small screen, you don't really see the effect of it. Maybe you see a little of it. But the higher resolution you go in a mobile phone, the less you notice it. That's why I mentioned the law of diminishing returns. So I don't think it's needed, but of course the higher the number, the more catchy it is in marketing schemes. So I cannot totally understand why people are Clumsy trucking. Love that color, bro. So that's why I totally understand why the phone manufacturers are climbing resolutions. Like I have a Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus. It's not the latest version. The latest version is S9. So I have an S8 Plus. That's a bigger size. And there is an option in there to change the resolution. I forgot the actual numbers, but imagine like there is a 1080p, a 4K, something in between, a 1440p maybe, and I think I chose the default, which is somewhere in the middle. Like there's an option to pick the highest resolution, but I think it's wasting the performance, wasting the resources of the phone, because the higher the resolution, the more, well, the harder to render, like the more effort it is, the more performance it will require. And if you're not really noticing it, what's the point? What is the point? I guess you could notice it from time to time, but after a while you'll get used to it. So it's not really that big of a deal. Plus, there is the compatibility issue. If you're using a 4K screen, but the app you're using does not use 4K textures, like it's using very low quality textures, then you get even worse an experience. Your experience will be even worse than before, because you'll definitely notice the blurriness. And it's the same not only in mobile phones but in games as well. So if you're using 4K, you have to make sure that the game you're playing is supporting 4K. I remember one of our guys in the community, I think it was Rob, is using a 4K screen when playing ETS2, and Alex is using a 4K screen as well when playing ETS2 and ATS. And I remember they were complaining about some mods, like depending on the mod author. Some mod authors use very low quality textures, some use very high, like Kirill is using 8K sky textures. Imagine if he used like a, I don't know, a 512 pixel Skybox. And then Rob and Alex are using 4K screens, and they will be loading a 500 pixel texture in a 4K display. So you would definitely notice the blurriness more. So 4K is a double-edged sword, and I think particularly for mobile phones, it's not really the best fit. It's only a marketing scheme in my opinion. Yeah, but it's not a necessity. It's not even distinguishable, noticeable. I think it's wasted resources. There is a sweet spot somewhere with the resolution, and I think 4K is too much, maybe. But that's just my opinion, and I'm not really familiar with the technicalities when it comes to mobile phones. Heck, I can't even remember the we're now in Bucuresti, and now it's completely industrial. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Is that good? Constanta to the left? Exactly. That's the one we're going to. Very large intersections here in Romania. Love it. Less chances for clumsy trucking. Oh, and we still haven't seen a trolleybus, although we've seen these electric lines up top. I remember there was a fix for the hotel. I haven't downloaded it yet. Crap. Rob added a fix, made a fix for the hotels, because with next-gen textures, the hotels are, how do you say, the hotels have been made into more adult-oriented hotels. Let's say it like that. And Rob's mod brings it back to the family-friendly hotels, let's say. Yeah, so it's more kid-friendly. And for sure I want it to be family-friendly, so I'll have to download the mod. Okay. Oh, clumsy trucker incoming. Have to keep our distance. Just to be on the safe side. Just to be on the safe side. Next question. Have you had weird experiences when you have gone on vacation? Awkward, strange, funny? Quite a lot. Quite a lot, but I cannot cross something out of my memory. Let me try and recall something. Weird experiences. Well, we were in Europe one time. Well, what I can recall, because usually I'm a very paranoid guy. So like I grew up in a place where you have to always be wary of your surroundings. So I grew to be very paranoid whenever I travel. I always look at my surroundings. I try not to use my phone or bring out my wallet in public as much as possible, depending on the place. Like you get a feel for the place, right? If it's safe, if it's a bit shady. So depending on that feeling, I adjust accordingly. But there was a time when we went to France. We went to Versailles. And Versailles is a very touristy spot. Lots of nice museums, very vast and beautifully maintained gardens, statues, history, whatnot. So you can spend the entire day there, and that's what we did in Versailles. And there was something which we couldn't explain until now, which is Mrs. Clumsy lost her wallet. And there is a perfectly reasonable explanation, but we had no idea that it happened. So she had her wallet inside her bag, and at one point it was there, and when we checked the next time it wasn't. And the zipper was open, I think. But the thing was, we never noticed the thing. We never had a clue. And she even had like a scarf over the bag, like it was covered. She was covering her bag. But I mean, the only logical explanation is, I mean, two things, right? She either dropped it or it was stolen. And we're thinking it was probably stolen because I don't know, we probably would have heard something if he dropped it, or I don't know, but the situation doesn't equate to it being dropped. It's more like it was stolen. But what's amazing in a way is that the thief was so pro, we did not have a clue that it was gone. And it was covered. It was, we weren't sticking with a lot of people because it was just the two of us. We weren't with a tour group or anything. But I mean, the skill and the finesse that the thief had was unimaginable. It was just so, he was just so good, or she was just so good. Must be in one of those movies where you bump into someone and then they have the wallet already. But yeah, that's a very disconcerting thing. Not only because we lost the money in there, where we didn't have a lot of pocket money, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But the major thing was Mrs. Clumsy had her identification card in Singapore over there, and it's like a very important piece of card because it authorizes you to be staying in Singapore. Remember, we're not Singaporeans, so in order to stay in Singapore we have to have that card. And she lost it, so she had to file for a new one, affidavit and things like that. So we had to like file for a we had to do like a police report when we were in France, all that kind of stuff. And it was a bit weird. It kind of spoiled the beauty of the place, but that's what you get sometimes. That's part of traveling, the unsafety. And this is why France doesn't give me a very good, like, I know France is beautiful, but it doesn't give me good memories so much because of that incident. So unfortunately, and nothing against French, nothing against France, but if I think of Europe, if I want to go back to a certain country in Europe, France would probably not be at the top of my list. Yeah, it's not going to be my priority, basically. Free toll? Oh, interesting. Okay, I'll take that. Free toll is always welcome. Good. But yes, aside from that, awkward, strange, funny. Ah, one more, yes. So that might not have been awkward, that might have been irritating. So, the awkward... Yes, okay, so we remember something now. What the heck is that guy doing? Swerving left and right. Look at that! Someone might have had a few too many beers last night. Oh my goodness, we have to report that guy. Clumsy trucking all the way. So, there was this time, it was somewhere in the Philippines. It's called Tagaytay. It's one of the famous Oh, famous destinations, very close to Manila, couple of hours, maybe 2-3 hours, including traffic. And it's colder than the usual temperature in Manila, so a lot of people go there for long weekends, you know, short vacations, day trips even. Because if with the heat in Manila, you want to get it as you want to get a bit of coldness, you know, gives you a reason to wear a jacket and stuff like that. So we went there, and there was a spa place there, like a resort that is just focused on giving you the most relaxing experience possible, like massage, all that kind of stuff. Massage, a very comfortable place. But the problem was we had this. We went there when I did not have enough funds. Well, we had enough, but barely. And this was a very pricey place, like a very exclusive place. And then, so we went there, we booked a room, but the room we booked was like that, the lowest end, basically. And when we got there, apparently this lowest end room is literally, and I'm not sure how I can explain this. It's a bahay kubo. Bahay is house in Filipino, in Tagalog. Kubo is, I don't know how to translate it directly, but it's like a house made of straw and wood and bamboo. So it's like a very provincial house, like an old school house. Like there's even a term in Tagalog. It's like lipat bahay, moving houses. Yeah, and when you think of moving houses, like you moving with your things, taking a truck, and moving to a different house, right? Moving houses. But the moving houses for the older, like Filipino times, is a literal thing. The house itself is being moved. That's how small and lightweight it was, because it was made of straw, maybe wood, maybe bamboo, all kinds of different materials, but very lightweight. So it's called, you call up your neighbors, you ask for help, and they literally lift your house, move to a different place, and you're there. Yeah, so that's like the older times. And we stayed in that kind of house, which is supposedly how do you say, not a luxurious feel, but an exotic feel, you know, like a blast from the past, to get an experience of how it was in the older times. And so we stayed there. It was a small place, no air conditioning, which was okay, fine, and it was not very comfortable. So in retrospect, when I look back at it now, it was not so matchy with the experience we wanted, because we wanted like a total relaxation, pampering vacation, a weekend filled with just relaxing. And we picked a house which was not very relaxing. It was a bit exotic, so it was not comfortable. So I think it was not very matchy in a way. Oh, and I forgot to lower my trailer axle. Oh, that's fine. More wear on the other axles, but shouldn't be a total deal breaker. I hope I didn't break any laws there, like maximum axle weight or something. Love that shifting sound. So we stayed in a bahay kubo. It was not very relaxing. It was kind of exotic, and me being a completely clueless guy when it comes to like rural stuff. Like I grew up in a city, so I have no clue about the different like creatures in the woods, different sounds. And during the night, so no air conditioning, very small house, we were planning to sleep already, and then we heard this strange, this alien sound. Until now it bogs my mind what it was. I have no clue until now what it was, but okay, there's no thing here, so let's just travel to Constanta manually. let's go and end the episode there. Yes. So until now I have no clue what it was, but there was like an alien sound which absolutely scared the heck out of me. I had no clue if it was like a monster, a bird, an insect. I cannot even remember the sound it made anymore, but I just remember the feeling I had. I was super scared. And Mrs. Clumsy was telling me, you were so scared back then, like when we were like reminiscing about that time. You were so scared you couldn't sleep. And I like stayed up the entire night because I couldn't sleep because I was so paranoid with what that thing was. And I couldn't go out of the small house because I was scared that it might like, I don't know, I might see it and it might give me even more traumatic an experience. In short, yes, I'm a scaredy cat. And I think Mrs. Clumsy is even braver than me. So she was able to sleep fine, but me, I was very like shaken up. So I didn't have a good night's sleep on that supposed relaxation weekend, and it completely defeated the purpose. And this is why I decided whenever we go back there, we will take the normal air-conditioned room, and to heck with the price. But then we never came back. Although we wanted to a couple of times, but the prices kept getting higher and higher, and we just couldn't justify it anymore. Like, we could go to the same place, the same area, on booking on a different hotel, and getting it for a much more reasonable price. So we never went back. And we could just have the massage anywhere outside. So yeah, we never got the chance to go back. So until now, that alien is still on my mind. And this, people, is why I don't watch horror movies. This is why I don't play horror games, because I'm a scaredy cat. Yeah, urban, city living, ignorant scaredy cat. Basically, it was that creature was probably nothing more than a certain kind of bird, and that's like the squawk that it does, which was so alien sounding. Like, imagine Lilo and Stitch. Who's the blue guy? Is it Lilo or is it Stitch? I think it's Stitch, right? I think it was Stitch. That's how it appeared to me at that time. But now, I don't even want to recall it anymore. But yeah, thanks for the question, Jay. Yeah, I guess that was the weirdest thing I encountered. At least that comes to memory. When I remember something, I'll tell you about it on stream or in the next episodes. And his last question is, now that you have seen snow, and yes, I've shared some photos in Instagram that I've seen snow, and I've touched it. What do you think of the experience? Although I have touched it, I have experienced snow also. Ooh, very nice bridge here. Too bad we are getting... Oh, and we have the problem again with the missing scheme thingy. Very nice bridge here. Has a parallel railroad track as well, I think. Is that the railroad track? The one with the brown support arches? I think so. We're not lucky enough to see the actual train though. Man, look at that sky. So beautiful. I really would hate to see foggy weather go. Yeah, maybe I'll go back to the old beta in the meantime for some of the heavier episodes that we have. But yes, let me know in the comments, right? Let me know in the comments. So I've actually seen snow already a couple of years ago as well. That was my first time in Cincinnati. We went tubing then. You know that thing where you like have the how do you say, like the lifesaver, salvavida, I think in Spanish. In Tagalog we call it salvavida, but I guess that's salvavida in Spanish. Save lifesaver. And then you like roll down a slope, and that's what you call tubing apparently. It's the first time I encountered that when I went to Cincinnati. So that's my first encounter of snow, and it was literally snowing and like 0 degrees. First experience with snow, first experience with cold weather then, and it was a truly mind altering experience. I know for some people, it's like, what? That's like, I have that every day. If you live in Norway, somewhere in Europe, my goodness, that is so beautiful. Thank you, Kirill. And yes, I gave a heads up to Kirill about what I'm planning to do, and he understands it, because yeah, we have limitations because of the SCS bug. So we have to work with what we can at the moment. So now that you have seen snow, what do you think of the experience? I think it's nice for vacation. I can start to imagine though how it can be a hassle, like if it's your daily life, or like if it's your daily life couple of months a year. Then I can definitely understand the hassle. Like I would prefer to stay in a place which doesn't have snow, and maybe just go to a place which has it. So maybe if I want to do some snow activities or get a really cold place, then I would go there for a few days, but I would get out afterwards. Because it's nice to have like a short experience with snow, in my opinion. But long term, I don't think anyone likes it. Or maybe a few people do, but they are the minority, if I think about it. So, no thank you. I would not want to live in a very snowy place. I would rather go to a very hot place than a snowy one. But for a few days only, like a limited experience, I would enjoy it, yes. Play with snow, be like a kid, do angel wings kind of thing. You know, that thing where you lie on the snow and move your arms up and down, side on the side, that you make like angel wings out of them. Constanta, we are here and it is beautiful. Loving this highway and this particular road network. The road networks here in Romania Map are not very sophisticated from what I've seen. They are more... Wait a minute, is this shoulder? I think it's a shoulder, my bad. I thought it was a second lane. Oh no, it is a second lane. No, it is a shoulder. Okay, that's the problem with the faded road signs. You don't have a clue anymore if they're like broken or not. If they're solid or not. Okay, good. And what was I talking about? Snow, right? Snow. So yeah, probably only a few days, but nothing longer. Because it does get repetitive. It does become a hassle, especially when you're driving slippery roads. When snow builds up outside, you have to clean it up. Things like that. But for having fun, I'm sure, especially for the kids. I mean, I felt like a kid. How much more the kids themselves. They would for sure enjoy that kind of thing. Building snowmen, that's what I haven't tried yet. Maybe I can try to build a snowman. Thank you. Yeah, maybe building a snowman would be good. So as far as I've seen, that red error in the map, which is pretty scary, thankfully doesn't cause the game to crash. Maybe it kind of fills up your game log though. I'll have to check how big my game log is at some point after this episode, but yeah, hopefully it's nothing too bad. Stop like that, maybe it's good enough. Maybe not so good. Let's maybe go inside fully. Something like that. Let me turn it around. Yeah, I know. Jackknife it a bit for that perfect angle. Very professional, right? And yes, this truck doesn't have trailer cables. It's not officially compatible with 1.32 yet. There's just a fix to make it available for the new dealers and stuff. but not officially 1.32 yet, but still good enough. Very smooth, very performance friendly, just missing the trailer cables. Anyway, that's it for now, guys. Thank you for watching. If you did like the episode, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and let me know what you think. I'm looking forward to your foggy weather comments and other stuff as well. If you were able to relate with any of the things I have shared, let me know. If you agree, disagree, more than welcome to hear them. Just keep them family friendly and respectable, alright? Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Catch you in the next one. Clumsy tracking, everybody. Where's my tutu? There we go. And catch you in the next episode. Thanks and bye-bye.